My name is Tom and I am the crypto investor, and it's time for our weekly market roundup of the crypto space. We start as ever with that heat map of the top 100 coins, and you can see that mostly it is green. Ethereum is down modestly 0.5% at 3,290, only because the snapshot we had last time was basically the peak that we had seen for the highest it has been in a few months or so. But Ethereum is just having its breakfast eaten a little bit by the self-proclaimed ETH killers of DOT, Solana and Cardano, all gaining a little bit of ground on it this week. Solana with just a storming week, up 77%, as well as Luna, because they are rolling out useful DeFi protocols. Many people are getting very interested in, and Cardano with a very good week for them, just hitting an all-time high, in fact, at recorded $2.55 or so. This is on the news that their smart contracts are coming out on the 15th of September. But just think about how far behind it is in development compared to Ethereum. If you think about it, over 90% of the top 100 coins are built on Ethereum. Cardano obviously doesn't even have smart contracts, let alone anything built on it, yet it is worth nearly 25% of Ethereum's market cap. So for me, it's coming to third place now. Considering it doesn't have any substance to back it, it just feels expensive for me. But don't hate me for that opinion. It's just my opinion. And, I'm just a guy on the internet. This is not financial advice. If you do like the content, by the way, and you do appreciate the work I put into it, please do smash the like button and subscribe and click the alert button. That's it. Yes, you got it. All right, so we have Bitcoin up 2.5% at $49,000. This is the highest it has been since it collapsed in May, and we'll look at the charts in a minute. Okay, and overall DeFi just a little bit down on the week, but overall, apart from Luna, of course, which has just been absolutely extraordinary. So this for me is the story that I take from this, that we have seen a clear competition in the DeFi space to Ethereum this week, represented in Solana and Luna, and that's where that growth has come from, and it has meant that the traditional Ethereum DeFi space has just been flat on the week compared to that. All right, let's look at the bubbles. All right, so we can see that, Avalanche, AVAX is the standout one here. They've increased their incentives on their program. I'm not that familiar with the token. It's obviously caught my eye after 166% week, so we'll look further. Audio, this is on the back of them partnering with TikTok. It still continues to rally. I did take a look at the token. For me, the tokenomics didn't sit well with me. It has a 7% annual inflation built into it, and that just was too much for my liking. I haven't gone deep into the project, but that just put me off for the time being. Solana, goodness me, look at you go. All right, and I wanted to, as per usual, let's look at the ultrasound money website, and we can see that this week another 30,000 Ethereum has been burnt. 60,000 is produced each week, 30,000 currently being burnt. So we have a plus 3.2% increase in the Ethereum supply every year. However, they've added this really cool feature here, which is a little button that simulates the merge being ETH 2.0, when in Q1, at the end of Q1 next year, so March, April time, 6 months from now, ETH will move from proof of work, processing power using energy, to proof of stake, dropping that energy consumption by 95% or so, and that will mean that no new 60,000 Ethereum per week will be produced. What impact will that have? Well, let's see. Plus 3.2% drops to minus 1% supply per year. This is why people call it ultrasound money. Bitcoin may have a hard cap of 21 million tokens, but Ethereum will become deflationary, of course. The supply will be reducing by 1% every year. And that's based on the current transactions on the network. When it's busier, this number goes up. In fact, I looked at this yesterday and it was 1.1. One thing I don't know is what's going to happen in 100 years from now when we run out of Ethereum. I know it doesn't quite add up that way, but I assume, there will be further protocol changes. But the important thing to remember is that they're not going to make protocol changes that are against the user's interest. They're not going to cut open their golden goose. They will always make changes that are in the interest of the community. They're not going to mutilate their own project. So even though, of course, we have this consensus where changes can be made, they're never not going to be made in the interest of the community. So for me, I feel very comfortable about the future of Ethereum. But I will, I don't want to be an Ethereum maxi, and I will change my allegiance. Solana is interesting me this week. I'm never going to be committed to just one blockchain. As new information arises, I will change my opinion and my biases. All right, so the cool thing about this as well is we can see where the burn is coming from, and OpenSea and their NFTs lead the way. So this is the NFT marketplace, OpenSea, burning half of the, not half, but a significant portion, I think almost half actually, of the Ethereum at the moment. And NFTs can't be ignored. NFTs aren't just about little JPEG pictures. NFTs are so much more. I like the idea of NFTs in the form of tickets. You go to a festival or an event and you get an NFT that shows you went to that event. You can share it and show it off as for social validation. But more importantly, you then are part of a elite group. Let's say we have a Woodstock 1971 repeat, and all of the people that went will get immediate opportunity to attend that first refusal because they have that NFT. And just think about what that means for for the future, for different companies releasing NFTs that offer that social proof of attendance. And then just think about companies like Disney, who can release a new film with, let's say, 100,000 tokens that represent that character, NFTs. And if you have that NFT, you can exchange it like a baseball card going up in value, but it also will unlock access. Like perhaps it allows you to go and see Moana 2 on Disney Plus a week before the screening, things like that. And this is just the beginning, just one kind of area. I expect most companies to be using NFTs in some way or another within the next 5 years or so. The Croissant puts it where we're such a weird point in time where people can't tell whether a digital rock selling for millions is the biggest sign of the top or the biggest sign that we're only just beginning. Whatever it may be, it's glorious to see. And this is it. I dabbled in selling these pudgy penguins last week. It's bizarre to see the value on some of these things, but I'll come into a few reasons why I think, this is just the beginning of this space. Okay, so we have Ethereum. That's $220 million worth of Ethereum, which is burnt this week. That's all we really need to show there. And if we look at the token terminal, which shows the revenues by token, Ethereum now, its effective burn is putting it as the highest revenue generator. Axie Infinity still well up there with 81 million per week burnt, which gives it this amazing price to earnings ratio. Makes it cheap, in my opinion, when you divide the revenue by its market cap of 4.3 billion. OpenSea now starting to appear on here, which is interesting. And just the whole of DeFi is eclipsed by Axie and Ethereum. All right, so moving on to a few news pieces. Galaxy Digital launches a DeFi index, and Bloomberg have put their name to it. So we have big institutional names putting their name on DeFi, giving further ratification to this space. And it's interesting to see. It's not quite the same as the DPI index, the Index Co-op DPI index, which is their DeFi one, but it's not a dissimilar selection of coins within there. It's a little expensive. I'm sure most of you crypto cats can jump in on this at $1 million minimum investment, but for me it's a little rich. And they do charge a 2% management fee. But this is obviously for institutions. We can go on Index Co-op and we can buy the DPI index, and we pay 0.25% to Index Co-op for the privilege, and we can start at $100. But it's the thing is that there's availability for institutions. And talking of that, so Fireblocks provide that custodian holding of the currencies for institutions. You don't want Jimmy from HR or finance holding a nano ledger and 3 other people having a portion of that passcode. There's tales of this kind of happening within companies where multiple people have the ledger passcode. You want an institution like Fireblocks to be holding the to be securing your crypto assets for you. Interestingly, the SEC chair Clayton has joined Jay Clayton has joined the Fireblocks. It's nice to see more and more incumbent regulators within the within the US landscape, joining these companies. They're recognizing that this is an extremely big growth area. I'm sure they're paying him very kindly, but it's nice to know that people within the system who know how the system works within regulation are joining these companies. It just strengthens, all of this just is a lattice strengthening the future of cryptocurrencies. And I'm kind of on that. I just want to jump to a quick, this is all that matters. All that matters is that we outpace this line. So this is the internet adoption since 1992. This white line is internet adoption globally, and you can compare this to running water, refrigerators, mobile phones and such. We have this steep trajectory now. The adoption of technology is much, much faster than it used to be when we didn't have such connected networks. And when you look at crypto adoption, it's outpacing internet adoption. And all that matters is that this continues on this trajectory. Everything else is just noise. And as long as we have that adoption, and you have a good portfolio, and you don't ape into some, massive scammy altcoin, and you keep a bedrock of core good picks like Bitcoin and Ethereum and such, then you will win too. All that needs to happen is we get mass adoption. And that trajectory remains nicely in place. Okay, so a few alts that I've got my eye on this week. First one is a options protocol called DOPEX that is very nice. And if you're familiar with the success of Robinhood, that is an options platform that has just proliferated the adoption of options contracts as an investment strategy for people. And DOPEX are doing that very well. There are others in the space, but hey, this is cheap. $67 million dollars market cap. It's 471st. I think this has nice room to grow. It is up another 28% today. I bought this last week and it's already up 100%, but starting from a very low base. So I like DPX. This is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet. Please do your own research. Another one that has me excited is universe.xyz. So we've seen how popular OpenSea is. This is another NFT marketplace, but it's tiny still. Again, another 50% today. I got in when it's 25 million market cap. It's 52 million market cap. Rank outsider, 521st. This is tiny still. And they haven't even launched their marketplace. Look at the products. NFT marketplace, no. Auction house, no. But I like the team a lot. Lots of people I respect on Twitter. Lots of people who are well respected in this space. And I expect them to deliver on their product. And it's a decentralized version of OpenSea. It's a decentralized marketplace. Very interesting, very sexy. Let's see if they do it. So yeah, I think that is very good value. And we'll look at it on the charts in a minute. Also this week, we have an ICO that has really caught my eye, which is called Star Atlas. If you're not familiar with this, it is a mad metaverse game, basically multi-universe planetary game where you have spaceships and you're an alien or you choose to be human or whatever it might be. But what's really cool is that your spaceship, your items within the game are NFTs. So you can, build up your spaceship, build up its weaponry, its armor, its range, whatever. It's going to get more valuable. You could sell that on a secondary market for tens of thousands of dollars, and then you fight against each other as well in these spaceships. It doesn't destroy your NFT, you keep your spaceship. But there is like a deep space version, like a expert level, where you do fight for real, where if you lose, your competitor wins your spaceship off you. And these, if it really does take off, these could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, these spaceships, or millions. And you just think how popular esports is. Watching people play Fortnite, when the stakes are just kudos and a prize fund, you wait until within this community, like the two biggest spaceships, both worth 1.5 million, fight off in deep space, and people watch this stuff. It's just mind-blowing, the extent of possibility in this space. And this is a very, very ambitious project. OpenSea, I don't believe they have much of the working game yet. It's probably got an 8 to 10 year roadmap till like the full scope of the game is set to be finished. But anyway, they are launching their token on FTX. There's a link in the description below for FTX if you're not part of it. One restraint is you have to be staking FTT token, and that's about 150 of them, which is about $7,500 right now. So you might need to move some of your crypto to be staking that. And then you can participate. And there's two tokens. It's a confusing one, but there's a token called Atlas and a token called Polis. basically, Polis is the one that I'm interested in. This is their governance token. The tokenomics behind it are much more appealing, in my opinion. So I'm looking to do this. It's on Thursday next week, 25th, I think. So yes, I am excited about that. Again, highly speculative. The game may never get made, but the metaverse and gaming area is where we're seeing the most interest and excitement in the space. So I'm excited too. Okay, another bit of alpha for you, please do like and subscribe, is Onda.finance. This is a nice staking protocol that is currently not got a token, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a retroactive airdrop to those who have connected their wallet and staked. So I've just staked a little bit on there because I reckon it will make me qualify for an airdrop. So I would encourage you to do the same. They offer like 40% on ETH. I'm only doing a little bit. It's speculative, but there's a good team behind this. Ex-Goldman and Sachs people. So yeah, this could have decent legs. So it's well worth a punt to qualify for what may be an airdrop. Just speculating. So they offer 40% yield on your ETH, and I think it's something like 400% right now on your Alchemix. Okay, and what else do we have? So Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, saying we recently received board approval to purchase over $500 million worth of crypto on our balance sheets to add to our existing holdings. And we'll be investing 10% of all profits going forward into crypto. Expect this percentage to keep growing over time as the crypto economy matures. So, okay, first and foremost, that is ballsy when your whole business is crypto and now all your investments are in crypto. That is not diversification, but that is doubling down on what they recognize as a massive growth space. And so I'm sure that fortune favors the brave and they'll do very well out of this. But it's also just setting the bar for other companies. Think how many other companies will start to just put 1%, 2%, 3% of their balance sheet into crypto. And I showed you that tweet from the Croissant a few weeks back showing that just if 1% of the S&P put their money into Bitcoin, for example, it would be like $140,000 or something. So great to see this kind of tweet coming from Brian Armstrong. Let's jump into the charts, crypto cats. All right, what do we got? So, of course, starting with the big daddy, Bitcoin, we are closing in on 5 consecutive upward weeks. Very nice momentum to see. And, some people get nervous when you do this, but the trend is your friend. And don't be surprised if this continues. Let's just jump down to a daily chart here. And if we compare this to, let's say, what we saw happening back in January, when we had a correction and then a move, then what happened here? Correction, move. That was 100% in 25 days. We haven't even been that aggressive. What we've seen so far is 70% in 31 days. So it's not even as aggressive as that recovery. We have a less frothy market. There's less leverage in the system. And we continue to channel up very nicely. You can see what a nice buying opportunity this offered us as we looked like we may have been breaking down. We came in at 44,000, but this trend line held perfectly. It was a very easy buying opportunity. So, wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. Make sure you have a similar trend line on your charts. I just think we channel up nicely. I can deal with this trajectory, which means that if we hold that line, we'll see an all-time high a month from now. And as I said, it's not even as aggressive a trajectory up as we have seen previously. Don't forget, this is Bitcoin, this is crypto. This stuff happens and it happens quickly. So I'm calling it, I'm saying new all-time high by the end of September. Let's see how we get on with that. All right, so looking at Ethereum, whereas Bitcoin has just broken above its high from last week, Ethereum is not doing so. As I said, it's just perhaps losing a little bit of its luster on the back of the likes of Solana, perhaps Cardano as well. For me, it's still leaps and bounds. Let's just show you why I think it is leaps and bounds ahead. It's the network effect. If you're familiar with Metcalfe's law, right here we have Polkadot, Cosmos, and Bitcoin, etc., Cardano. These are the number of developers working on those blockchains. And then we have up here the number of developers working on Ethereum. And then the higher above this is the number gained as well, the more that are adding to it. And as I said, over 90% of all crypto projects are built on Ethereum. That's a massive network effect. And this gap here is a moat. And whilst that remains in place, it's hard to bet on anyone else. I do think we see Solana start to creep up here, and we will keep an eye on that. And I will try to find a more updated version of this, because this is from April. I would love to see this. If anyone has it, please do share it with me. But right now that moat remains. As I said, I will change allegiance, but I have 50% of my holding in Ethereum personally, and 50% in alts. And I will share that portfolio with you at some point. I'm thinking of putting a little mailing list together. If you think that would be a cool thing, then do say. So maybe we two things are going to happen. We've got to break. I think we come back down a little bit more, and then we break 3,300 and quickly make an impulsive move to 3,600, or we consolidate sideways here. We will see. But I think most likely we come down a little bit and break up here. But again, channeling very nicely. We did lose that lower trend line, which had been holding, but we've since broken back above it, which is good to see. So it hasn't had quite the same buoyancy, as I said, as Bitcoin, but still looking pretty strong. When we compare Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can see that we had this huge wedge. We broke out of it. I did say that I thought we would make an impulsive move to the 50% ratio on the back of EIP 1559. I've so far been wrong. It certainly hasn't been impulsive. We channeled and I thought we would break this. I was wrong. We broke down. So, Ethereum is not tearing away from Bitcoin quite like I expected. Waiting to see how this unfolds. But, I still feel that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin in the coming months and years. So I'm still keeping my allocation as is, but yeah, paying attention to this. Okay, looking at DeFi. So this is DeFi in US dollars, and you can see that DeFi is just beautifully moving up. 125% move in the last month for DeFi. And when we put that in Ethereum, you can see that it's a bit more modest, because the thing is that when DeFi goes up, Ethereum burns more. And so it's very hard for DeFi to outcompete with Ethereum. It's only institutional investors buying the likes of Aave and Sushi or whatever it may be that will really change things. But DeFi only managing to outcompete Ethereum, actually not really outcompeting Ethereum over that time frame. So another thing to have on your radar is the Metaverse Index, MVI. So this is the Metaverse Index valued in Ethereum. And you can see that, let's take from the end, basically in the last 50 days, we've had 100% move versus Ethereum in the metaverse space. And I don't think this is done. I think we continue to channel nicely up. I've taken a little bit of my DeFi allocation and moved it into metaverse. Very easy way to do this is to just own the DPI index on Index Co-op. We can buy it on MetaMask. Or the MVI index, the metaverse index. And then you can just, instead of, they're an aggregation of 20 different tokens. It just allows you to be more nimble. Yes, you don't get the yield, but it's a very easy way of just saying, okay, I'm selling my DeFi token, I'm buying my metaverse token. So that's DPI and MVI. Please ask questions in the chat, in the comments below if you want me to clarify these things. So looking really nice, the metaverse index. All right, let's just quickly look at dominance. So Bitcoin dominance dropping nicely. And as I said, if we break below here, we're firmly in alt season. Feels like we are. It's just holding for the time being. Be nice to see that break. I think Bitcoin dominance drops significantly along this run down to the 20s perhaps. Ethereum dominance failing to break above 20, coming back down. It's be interesting to see if we can still make a higher low. So we have this low. We want this to turn around and make a higher low. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this being the place that Ethereum dominance picks up, and hopefully we put in a higher high and we break 20%. But there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of very cool, interesting new projects. Looking at the total market cap of crypto, look at it go. We are up to $2 trillion and $75 billion in total crypto market. We are just 22% away from the total market high. Hopefully that's what your portfolio is away from its previous high on the 12th of May. If it's not, then maybe you've got a few shitcoins that you need to start rotating if they are not moving. We are holding a even steeper trajectory up than we did previously. Compare, we kind of had that similar trajectory for a time. But overall, the trajectory during this run was more like this. So, we are really moving at a pace here. If you compare it to what we saw at the beginning of the year and now. So long way, may this pace continue. It's been an incredible 5 weeks in crypto. All right, and quickly just checking the shorts. Bitcoin shorts are falling right down to record lows, a further 11% down. Nice to see, so little shorts in the market. All right, so I've done a couple of things here. This is the total valuation of crypto minus Bitcoin. So you can see that, Bitcoin is that safety raft if you want to remain exposed to crypto, but you want the lowest volatility, the safest pick, that is Bitcoin. And so when that breaks, and it did break, of course, here at the beginning of the month, that signals people are buying alts again, people are taking risks again. And so the last 3 weeks, we've really seen alts picking up versus Bitcoin. In fact, overall, modest really, but alts starting to move, which is really nice to see, and holding a steep trajectory there. I mentioned metaverse outstripping the it's gone. I've lost my chart. Let's see if I can build it for you live. So this is the metaverse index, and then I'm going to change. I'm going to compare it to the DPI index. No, live demos. Why are you trying this, Tom? I do these in one shot, so please bear with me. I hope you don't mind. Okay, yeah, so this is the metaverse index versus DeFi. So I was saying that the metaverse is outpacing DeFi, and you can see here that since really the 6th of July, so in the last 46 days, metaverse has performed better than DeFi by 130%. So for me, that's where the allocation needs to be. The trend is your friend. Don't be afraid of buying high. Better to have that tailwind as an investor rather than only monkeys pick bottoms, they say. It's best to buy with momentum. So I think this space for me has a lot more to go. I mentioned buying YGG last week. Of course, we have Axie as well, but you can just buy the MVI index. YGG, since we picked it, has had a beautiful, beautiful move. Look at that. Up something like 200% since we added that. Also, I mentioned XYZ. So this is that NFT marketplace. As I said, it's very, very cheap right now. Realize that, we just come into some resistance, which was this previous all-time high. So let's put that on our charts here. And that's exactly where people sold. So it's coming back down now. Might be quite a nice chance to buy into this. As I said, it's a highly speculative coin. But it's got a great team behind it. If they do create a product which can compete with OpenSea, then this could be a multi-billion-dollar coin, and it's currently a $50 million coin. So, let's see how this goes. But I'm very excited about this one. I think it's a high risk, high return. I'm still keeping my allocation to it low. I've gone like 2.4% of my portfolio. And maybe we come back and test this trend line, but yeah, XYZ looking like quite an exciting pick. All right, let's leave it from there. I hope you found it useful. If you do get any value, please share it with your mates. Please hit subscribe. I am the crypto investor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet. Thank you for watching to the end, you loyal crypto cat. I'll speak to you soon. All the best.